so long, when we talk about alcohol in our society, it's been in such a black and white term. It's been
Mhm.
either like, okay, it's a normal rite of passage. We all do it. It's how we socialize. It's the most normal part of our society. Or, oh, you have a problem. Okay, we're going to put that aside. You need to go to AA, maybe to rehab, right? And in this black and white lens, like, I think we've lost the art of curiosity and really just reevaluating whether or not alcohol serves us in our life, in our value system, in our dreams, all these kinds of. One thing to recognize about alcohol is that it is a drug. Like, these other things might be behaviors or something like food, right? Like they're a food group or it's a behavior, but alcohol is actually a drug. We are talking about one of the most addictive drugs on the planet. So it really is a little bit more elevated about how dependent we get on it. You know what I mean? It actually changes your brain chemistry. You lose consciousness on alcohol. There's a reason why you're not supposed to drive with alcohol. And so I think, in a way too, that, like, comparing alcohol to something like bread will never work completely because it's
Right,
not it's
exactly.
not just a food. It literally is a drug that changes your brain, and removing it will also change the neurochemistry of your brain in a far different way than a lot of other things. So much of our drinking is dominated by this tribal behavior, this need to belong. This is how we culturally, engage with one another in social situations. And so there's this huge fear we're going to run up against of, like, am I going to lose belonging? Am I going to lose my friends? Am I going to be the odd one out? And I think asking ourselves what is normal is so important, because if you asked me, do I want a normal life or do I want a great life, I think it's really easy to answer that question. And then looking at what is normal, normal is over drinking. The vast majority of people who drink overdrink. Normal is also being unfulfilled in your career. The vast majority of workers in this country are unfulfilled. Normal is also being unhealthy. The vast majority of people in this country are unhealthy. So it's like, what do we really want? Do we really want normal? Or do we want to be exceptional? And are we willing to live our lives in a slightly different way than other people in order to be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled? And so I think it starts with this just mindset. Am I willing to look at things differently? Right. And I think that's really beautiful. And so to get started, just really recognizing that, aside from what everyone else is doing, you're allowed to choose what you want to do. And you're allowed to experiment. You don't have to label it. You don't have to claim that you're doing something for forever. You get to just play and get curious with it. The way that alcohol is put into our society is presented is a rite of passage, right? You turn a certain age and you start drinking, and it is a symbol almost of your independence, your coolness, your rebelliousness, your sophistication, right? Now, alcohol is nothing more than a fermented beverage in a glass, right? It's toxic at that, but it's just a beverage, right? And as a society, we've now attached all this meaning to it. It makes you this type of a person, right? Alcohol doesn't do any of that. That is societal conditioning and expectations we have now put on a beverage, right? And so, yes, like, there's this understanding that we were all kind of duped into this. You know what I mean? We were kind of duped into this. And then, because of the neurochemistry of how alcohol affects our brains, plus how it's expected of us to continue drinking every social event till we die, it becomes a very strong habit in most people's